War, and he enlisted in the Marine Corps, because he knew the Marines were going. And shortly after that, Ed landed on a beach in Guadalcanal, and did a lot of things. Some of us have done some similar things. But I'll tell you what Ed did, and he didn't know what he was doing back then. He was adding to our legacy from the Marine Corps. And that's what you guys are doing right now. You guys continue to add to our legacy, and I'm proud to be a Marine. Because all of you Marines here that stood up in a time of war, maybe you didn't go yet, maybe you have gone a few times. And because of that, you guys are adding to our legacy. And 50 years from now, Marines in 50 years are going to be looking at you guys, like you guys are looking at Ed. Amazed at what you guys have done. And I'm so proud, and I'm so humble. So without further ado, Mr. Ed Reiff, I'm going to bring the microphone down to you, sir.
He wants to be up there.
Well, first of all, I had a 20-page speech that I was going to read, but I took it and tore it up and figured I'll just talk to my fellow buddies right from the heart. On December 7th, 1941, I was at Madison Square Garden at a hockey game, and they made the announcement, all servicemen report back to their bases immediately. All furloughs and leaves have been canceled. That's all they told us. 30 minutes later, they came on the horn again, and they said the Japanese had bombed Pearl Harbor. I was 16 at the time, and I knew my 17th birthday was coming up, and I knew when I was 17, I was going to be in the Marine Corps. I went down on my birthday with my parents who signed for me. I joined. They shipped me to Parris Island, and it was a hellhole. Anyway, thank God I made it through, and I was waiting to go to school. I was going to take up welding. So they flew me to Quantico, Virginia, and I was waiting for school to start. I had a 3-week wait, and I got a pass to go to New York. And I was standing there in my uniform, dressed, waiting for a friend of mine who was going with me, when this major walked in and said, you, and you, pack your sea bags. I said, sir, I've got a pass for New York. He took it out of my hand and tore it up. They put us on a plane. They flew us out here to California, to Pendleton. They shipped me to North Island, and I had 6 weeks training on the machine guns. And they put me on the Lura line, and off we took. We got to New Caledonia, and they transferred us to miserable, filthy Dutch landing ships. We hit Guadalcanal on the 7th of August. At 6:30 in the morning. I was the 106th man over the side to go down the boat. They took the first 200 Marines that were going to land and formed a club that we were supposed to meet. Unfortunately, I was the only one of the 200 to make it back. Anyway, we hit the canal. Nothing. It was like landing in Santa Monica. We were playing ball, we were laughing, we were joking. We figured the big Navy barrage had wiped everything out. Then at 11 o'clock that night, it hit the fan. They came out of everywhere, trees, the ground. And we were the first outfit to get the Japanese Imperial Marines, their crack troops. And I would like to apologize for the language, but we kicked their ass. We took Henderson Field, set up our machine guns, and for the next 4 months, we stood there and fought everything off. Anyway, we finally had the island pretty secure, and our outfit was sent to Bougainville. on Bougainville, November 1st, 42. And fortunately, it was not as bad as the canal. We cleaned it up in 15 days. Anyway, we had turned Guadalcanal over to the Army. And as you know, they're not Marines. They almost lost the island. They flew us back down, and we got back to Henderson Field, and thank God we repelled their landings. Anyway, the nice part of the story, it was Thanksgiving Day. And on the canal, we had 5 days in the front and 2 days R&R, which was the rear area unloading ships. And my time was up, and I was getting ready to go back to the front. And I passed our CB camp, and they were all lined up. And I asked them, fellas, what's going on? They said, we're having a turkey dinner with all the fillings to go with it. So I said to them, is there any chance of a poor sergeant that's going back to the front to get a meal? They said, you wait here. They brought the officer of the day out, and he took me in, sat me down, and they fed me like you wouldn't believe. I got up to thank him, and he says to me, Sergeant, can you drive a 6x6? I said, surely. He says, come with me. He took me out to the back of their camp, and they had a truck loaded to the hill with turkey and everything else. He says, you take this up to the front lines and give it to our boys from their CB buddies. I thanked them. I drove up to the front. We set out a perimeter of guards. The guys carried me out of the truck, and we had a Thanksgiving second to none. And every year at Thanksgiving, I stop and propose a toast to the boys that didn't make it back. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so when I was in boot camp, I had a Marine Corps sergeant, a China Marine. He was all Marine. And he said, if you boys don't learn this poem, you do not get out of boot camp. Now this was in 1942, and I've never forgot it. I'm going to give you all a chance to hear it. You can have your Army khaki, you can have your Navy blue. There's still another fighter I will introduce to you. His uniform is different, the best you've ever seen. The Huns called him a devil dog, but his real name is Marine. He is trained in Parris Island, the land that God forgot, where the sand is 14 inches deep and the sun is scorching hot. He has peeled 1 million onions and twice as many spuds. He spends his leisure time in washing out his duds. Now girls, just take a tip. I'm giving it to you. Just grab yourself a good Marine, for there's nothing he can't do. And when he goes to heaven, to St. Peter he will tell, another Marine reporting, sir, I've served my time in hell. Semper Fi to everyone.
We heard you like some scotch and some cigars, and I heard the battalion commander's going to buy you some scotch later. But we got you a little cigar box with the golf company crest here. We're the gunfighters, and we hope you store your cigars there.
I will definitely.
Thank you so much, sir. You're awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the retirement of the colors and the march off of the official party.